As the Election Commission prepares to hold polls in Jammu and Kashmir, the recent terrorist activities suggest that they could try to derail the electoral process. We have with us Mr. Yashovardhan Jha Azad, a former police officer who was in the leadership team of Intelligence Bureau. Mr. Jha now is the chairman of Deep Strat. So my first question is that recently it has been noticed that there are more attacks by terrorists in the Jammu region than in the Kashmir Valley. What is your view of the new strategy by the terrorists?
Well, it's the actually broadening the area of confrontation. And yes, you're right. The Jammu area has become the hotbed now. It's a very challenging terrain. And the kind of insurgents who are coming in are they're very well equipped. Iridium satellite sets and, communication encrypted sets, Chinese equipment, US M4 rifles. So all these indicate that it's a very tough kind of a counterinsurgency plan that we have to devise. We have to go back to the drawing board. The intelligence machinery has to be totally geared, and it has to be a planned kind of an operation, because the kind of terrain you have, you can't just go around like this, because they are attacking buses, they're attacking people. You remember when they had started about 2 decades back, they were attacking Hindu community. There were a lot of losses we'd had, migration also from Kishtwar and all these places. So yes, you're right. This change in strategy is something which is worrisome, and it has to be countered. But I'm sure Jammu is a region in which the people together are responding well, and soon the intelligence machinery will also be in shape. Of course, the density of the force is less, because it was shifted to Ladakh, as you know, for obvious reasons. So it will take time, but it will be okay soon, I should think.
The disruption of political process by terrorists is not new in Jammu Kashmir. What precautionary steps do you think Election Commission should take? Because Prime Minister, Leader of Opposition Rahul Gandhi, former Chief Ministers will be out for campaigning in the next few days.
See, we've had the experience of holding elections in a much worse kind of atmosphere in the 90s, if you realize, in 96 and all that time. So already a meeting has taken place. I'm giving it to understand. The Home Minister Amit Shah was there, who held a high-level meeting. The first thing which is very important, is that you have to give a sense of assurance to the people who are fighting the elections, because they represent the actual democracy, as trying to garner the vote of the people. So therefore, the first element, and I think which is a very critical element, is to see that nobody is insecure. So the candidates who are fighting, they deserve to be protected. So that is one thing which has already been done, and it has to be seen that none of them gets hit by the terrorists as one of the targets. I think that's a very, very important thing. The second thing is not being able to overawe the election process. For example, if they're going for campaigning, a particular site, a public area gets impacted because of bombing or some kind of like that. So that is another. Number 3 is a very high degree of protection given to the dignitaries of the luminaries, like the Prime Minister, Prime Minister, of course, is a little more safe because the SPG protects him. But more important, there are people who are there from the Jammu and Kashmir itself, and the other ministers from Delhi who are going. They should be protected. So these are 3 very, very important things. And in general, the 4th thing is very important, that the people should feel that they are secure, they are comfortable in being able to participate in the electionary activities, go for these campaigns, and also being allowed to vote. So I think these four things are important. And if they are taken care of, I'm sure we'll be able to hold the elections. Mind you, Supreme Court has already given the date as 30th of September. So I think it starts on the 18th of the Amarnath Yatra finishes.
So the Chief Minister of Jammu Kashmir has always played a very important role in taking action against terrorists and reaching out to the common citizen. With Jammu Kashmir now being the union territory, what will be the role of the new Chief Minister in the security establishment or in the new security challenges?
Oh, huge, huge role. I mean, in fact, if you see, it is very important now to have a democratic setup in Kashmir. After Article 370, and it has become a non-issue. I mean, Article 370 has come. I mean, in a way, you can say people have accepted it. And there are, of course, the usual opposition, which is there. And it is immaterial whether Pakistan wants it or doesn't want it. They are nobody to comment on our area. What is important in the role of chief minister, which he'll play, he'll represent the will of the people of Jammu and Kashmir. So the first important thing is the confidence building exercise. The confidence building exercise that they are meant for people, they are there for their liberty, dignity, their well-being. The most critical, I think, job would be to give them jobs, to give them assurance, to give them safety. And this can only be done by an elected government. After all this while in the president's rule, security was one of the most important things, right? And to see that the administration is in order and that things and supplies, public distribution is fine. But then when a chief minister comes and the MLAs come, then they are giving the voices from the ground. And that is the thing which we need in Kashmir now. We need more and more of engagement with the people. We need more and more to hear about the requirements. Many parts of Kashmir need they have their individual aspirations, they have their individual, needs, whether it's trade, apple supplies, whether it's the carpets, whether it's the industries, so tourism. There are huge responsibility. So I just hope that the chief minister, who's really elected, is a tall figure and who really takes this into mind and really gives a new innings to Jammu and Kashmir.
So post the removal of Article 370, there has been a steady decline in terrorist-related incidents. Are people getting fed up with these continuous violence, or how do you read the situation?
In my view, removing 370 or keeping 370 really doesn't have much impact on the violence. The violence will maintain its course. My view is, what Park thinks is irrelevant. In fact, our area is there in POK, and we have 90 MLA seats, right? But I think 24 of them or some of them is still in POK. So it really is immaterial what they think or what anybody thinks. I would say that, see, the tempo of violence in Kashmir will remain like this. We have to take it, treat it like another day in office. As long as Pakistan is there, its raison d'etre depends on, having some kind of disturbance in Kashmir. So, given that condition, we have to accept it. We have to continue with our development activities and see that it does not impact us. And let me tell you, Kashmir cannot be solved right now. It can only be managed. It can only be managed. And yes, 30 years hence, it will automatically on its own, it will go away when they completely realize the irrelevance of making these protestations. After all, those stone pelting and all these things are finished. So now because the people have stopped, now these hardcore trained terrorists are coming in the Jammu region. Therefore, the counter-insurgency strategy has to change. Otherwise, we take it as it is. We take it on the chin.
So my last question is: there are a lot of expectations from the new political leadership, both from opposition and, of course, from the government. What role can these new political leaders who get elected can play in the peace process?
I'm glad you asked me this question. You know, I think the most important role in keeping Kashmir healthy, peaceful, and on the path of development falls upon these elected leaders. Number one, not making irresponsible statements, not giving inflammatory speeches, not unnecessary raising the communal passions, focusing on the needs of the people, focusing on employment, not talking on the internal security or the foreign policy or related to anything vis-a-vis China or Pakistan. Let the central government take care of it. They are supposed, because the elected leaders or the politicians talking irresponsibility about Kashmir, Kashmiriyat, and all kinds of things is very, very unfortunate. You should focus on economy. You should focus on social cohesion. You should focus on communal harmony. This is what is important. Ultimately, everyone is going to benefit. Good. Nobody is interested in sloganeering and raising unnecessary passion. So I do hope they will show some kind of sagacity, some kind of maturity, which is the need of the hour in J&K today. And this is irrespective whether the party is in power in the center or the opposition or the independents. And let's hope for the best.